So when we're talking about goals and we're talking about maybe revising those goals and deciding what is possible and how we're going to go after our goals, I think the big thing to look at, everybody focuses on the glory part of it is always like, what is the goal? And then it's like, what am I going to do to get there and all that other stuff. But sometimes the thing that doesn't get focused on is kind of beneath the surface a little bit. But just like the tip of the iceberg is the little part, what's under the surface is the big part. The big thing under the goal is the why. Because when you start talking about your goals, and I think early, as soon as I brought up goals, somebody was quick to point out the truth that without having a plan, right, the goal without a plan is, it's just a wish. It doesn't get you anywhere. So we know the plan is all about how, and how is fine. I think it's important to pay attention to how, but in goals or in life, when your why is big enough, you'll always find the how. I mean, have you ever noticed that if there's something that your why is really small, like you really don't care. I mean, you kind of set a goal, an arbitrary goal, maybe even somebody sets a goal for you or tells you something you should do, and you're kind of like, not that big of a deal. You're not going to go out of your way to find the how or implement strategies to get you there. It's just going to be like, if it happens, it happens. But when you've got something that equates to a burning desire of a why, when your why is huge, how doesn't matter. I mean, you'll figure out how. The other thing that's cool about having a really big why is the size of your why when compared to the obstacles that you encounter is the difference. I mean, if your why isn't bigger than the obstacles, you're done. Because at every obstacle, there's an opportunity to decide, I don't really need to achieve that goal, and I'm not going to get this sale. It's just not going to happen. But if your why is really big, those obstacles start to look really small, right? I think it was Henry Ford that said, obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off of your goal, which is part of the truth. But unless you have a big enough why, it's not just about the goal, the words or what you say. I'm going to earn this much money. I'm going to get this many sales, whatever. What is your why behind that? You got to have a big enough why. And we're going to kind of get into that a little bit more as far as our goals. But I